Right, good evening, good afternoon guys. Hi, I'm Foxy, as we all know. This is the preview show. Welcome to the best fans in the world, as we all know we are. So it's been another exciting week in the life of a Middlesbrough Football Club supporter. When isn't it? If we're not crying, we're laughing, I suppose. So we've got to the promised land, or have we? We've scraped into fifth, we've got into playoffs, we've done kind of what the remit was, and we're where we needed to be for the end of the season. But what we'll do is I'll have a little chat about that in a minute, and I'm going to have a little breakdown, obviously, of Ipswich. And this is no offence to any Ipswich fans here at all, but this is kind of not really a game that really counts. It's more of a game for fitness for me, and it's more of a game for just keeping the run going. So, as usual, I'm with my esteemed colleague, Mr. Roberto. So, hiya Rob, how are you doing?
You right, Foxy?
I'm good, thank you. Happy with last week?
Over the moon, mate.
Did what we had to do?
We certainly did.
And they were garbage, to be fair. I'm very surprised, Millwall. You know, we tried to interact with you when you were walking past us being really chewy, and just for one of your specific fans out there who give us a lot of grief, who look like Neo off the Matrix, there's no need. So anyway, we'll move on from that. It's all fair in love and war. So, Ipswich, what do we expect? Well, to be honest, they've had a really poor season. We all know about Mick McCarthy. Seems like he's been there forever, and obviously they've just sacked him. I don't know what the situation is with you Ipswich fans, but it looks like you don't really get the backing off a chairman either. You haven't really got money to spend, and it seems like you get decent players coming in and out of that team, but you never really seem to put anything together. They looked half decent at the start of the season, around the playoff zone for a little bit, and then they kind of just mellowed out. But then I suppose we could say that about the majority of teams this season, apart from maybe Wolves and Fulham, and maybe Cardiff, where pretty much everyone else has been on runs, spluttered, been average, but obviously Ipswich haven't been involved in that. So what are we looking at? Mid-table team, last game they've just beat Reading away 4-0. They changed the formation and played 3-4-3, which is, from what I can gather, was a new setup for Ipswich. They, like I say, have just got rid of Mick McCarthy. Don't know what the situation is with the new manager. Talking to Ipswich fans this week and doing a little bit of research, they're all really wanting Steve Clarke to come in, who would be a good manager for you guys. I don't know what you see. Like I said, the situation is with giving him money to back him and stuff like that. But Steve Clarke's a player, a manager that could work with a squad. So, like I just said, this game for me is, and I know a lot of Borough fans will be thinking, well, it doesn't matter, it's only Ipswich, and if we get beat, we get beat. And I'm not really somebody that's in that kind of vein. I think we need to keep our run going. Now, when me and Rob were talking about this off camera, Rob kind of thinks that it doesn't matter what happens. If we get beat, we get beat. We've been on a run, you know, maybe we need to get beat before we get beat in a game that counts. So, like I said, I don't agree with that. I think that it's important to keep runs going, and I think we haven't really had a massive run all season, especially not a winning run. What have we done? We've put three or four wins together, 3 wins together. I think it would be good to go into this playoffs, whether we win on Ipswich or not, unbeaten. Now, I'd like to see you make changes, although that is going to be pretty. There's not much really option we can do. We can bring in Craney, we can bring in Harrison, who must start for Traore. We need to get Harrison at least slightly match fit so that this guy can come off the bench if we need him. Like I said, we haven't got a massive squad, a massive bench. I'd start a Sombalonga, because I'm a massive believer that when people are scoring goals, you leave him in the team. And as this kid hasn't been playing much in the last 3 or 4 months, and he has started to score again, being in the team in the last 3 weeks or so, you leave him in. I'd probably start Kasted as well. So this is a game, and again, Ipswich fans, I don't mean to sort of be to be rude at all here, but this is a game that doesn't matter to us, because if we finish 5th, you know, whatever, I don't think we can finish 6th, but if we do finish 6th, it doesn't really matter either. I'm really not bothered who we play in this playoff. We have to beat somebody that we haven't beaten all season, i.e. Fulham, Cardiff or Villa. It's probably going to be Villa that we play. But again, this takes me back to where we're at with this game. So I'd make some changes, although they're not going to be dramatic changes. It's not like you can change 9 people. So we haven't really got an excuse to go there and not win a game. We can easily turn these over. Like I said, they've just beat Reading 4-0 away. They've been average all season. In fact, just to emphasise that point, Freddie Sears scored his first goal for them the other night against Reading, which he's played a few games this season, around about 22, most of them off the bench, but that's his first goal of the season. So, who are the people to look out for? Well, realistically, you've got somebody like Martin Waghorn, who's been a journeyman, really, played at Leicester. By the way, I haven't really mentioned where we are. This is another great set from Rob Shedd. What he's done here as well is he's managed to put in kind of people walking up and down in the past. It looks like we're near the uni. We've kind of gone for the heart and feel in the soul of Middlesbrough vibe today. But again, great work, Rob, with your paper mache. So kids, Nobody's wrote in this week and said where they might find us, so no one's won a mug, but I'm digressing slightly. But, you know, anyone who's got any ideas for the playoffs, anyone who wants to build a set, right in. So, Martin Waghorn, journeyman, scored 15 goals this season, which isn't a bad return in the Championship, really. The guy's got 10 assists. So where do we mark that up against our team? We spent 14 million, was it, on a Sombalonga? He's only just managed to hit that many goals, although, yeah, like I say, he's been dropped. So you don't need to spend millions to get players to score your goals in this league. As I mentioned last week with Millwall, you don't need to spend millions to find half-decent players. Although they were garbage, well, let's be honest, they didn't turn up. I was surprised. Other people really to concern ourselves with. Garner, decent player. Again, he's an old guy, Joe Garner. He's scored around about 10 goals this season. Nothing flash, you know. Selena, who's a player I like the look of. I don't know whether he'll play on Saturday. He's a Kosovan. I think he's around 21, 22. Winger, left winger. Chipped in with a few goals. I think he's got a few assists this season. Again, he's another player. He's quite agile, likes to dribble. And another player that I've been looking at, actually, that probably isn't a player that people would actually look at, is a guy called Jonas Knudsen, Danish, left back, plays centre back as well. Really impressed me this season. The guy's really good at crossing. I like to play with a bit of width, Ipswich, but I'll talk about that in a minute. He's had 7 assists this season from left back. Really positive player. I like the look of him. So I mean, they like to play sort of, like I said, they played 3-4-3. They're a very direct team. Like to keep the ball in the air. They've scored a lot of goals this season from set pieces, actually. 17 goals from set pieces. They've got a couple of set piece takers in there. But again, they're nothing to worry about. They don't like attacking. They don't like being attacked down the wings, which will suit us. They don't like counter-attacks. They're poor with offsides. They don't hold the line very well, which is all good for us because we've got pace. Couple of other things really to talk about with that team then. We don't know whether they're going to want to put in a good performance for whoever the manager's going to come in and be. We don't know if he's going to be sat in the stands, if it is going to be somebody like Steve Clarke. So I wouldn't expect it to go there and be an easy game. They'll probably have a decent crowd. And as we know with this league, it's a crazy league. No matter where we are or what we've done, there's potential banana skins all over. So it wouldn't surprise me if we go there and it's 3-3. Now, I wouldn't be bothered with that as long as we have, for example, I don't know, let's say we get a Gested on the goal scoring sheet and we get a Sombalonga on the sheet, maybe a Harrison with a couple of assists, or maybe Harrison on the sheet. You know, I want to see this. I want to see a positive performance though, and I want to see something where we're going into a playoff with, no matter who we're playing, ready to take them to pieces. So they haven't really got anyone else to talk about. Actually, to be fair, there's one player in that team who hasn't played much since, I think he got injured against QPR before Christmas. A real up-and-coming talent. A player that I'd love to see at the Borough, to be honest, but the kid can't stay fit. It's Teddy Bishop. He got injured against QPR. He's been one of these players that potentially could go through the roof. He's only 21, he's a graduate, he's come through the academy at Ipswich. Really talented player, good dribbler of the ball, good passer of the ball, centre midfielder, but they haven't been able to keep him fit. Now, I don't know whether whoever comes in next season could keep this kid fit, but potentially to build a team around this guy. And also as well, who's just come to mind, Boyce. Right midfielder, plays defensive midfield, but he plays on the wing, and he played on the wing against Reading. I think he scored against Reading. I think he was man of the match against Reading, actually. But this is another player who scored goals and assists this season from a defensive position. So, again, Borough fans, I'm not trying to say that these are anything special, and that's no derogatory marks to Ipswich. But again, we don't want to get beat against these. I'm strongly in the belief that you keep your runs going, as I said at the start of the show. So, I want to go there and get something positive. So, I genuinely think it'll be about 4-4 because it's just an end of the season game. I think we need to make changes at the back. I'd like to see Ayala dropped, and I'd like to see Gibson dropped, just to give them a little bit of a breathing space. They've really formed a great partnership in the last sort of 3 months. And other people say they probably, you know, want Shotton to get a rest, maybe Friend, but I'd like to see Dale Fry come in. Like I say, just to mix it up a little bit and keep people on the toes. We don't know what we're going to need when it comes to the playoffs. So where does that leave us? We're going to do a proper playoff preview. But I genuinely don't think we're going to go up. I just don't think we'll beat a team like Villa over 2 legs. I think we finished 5th for a reason. We've lost 14 games this season, which is the highest amount inside the top 10, which is silly. It just tells you, as we've mentioned every week, where we are with this league. I'd love to see it happen, but as a realistic Borough fan, I can't buy fool's gold and just start letting myself think that just because we've got into the playoffs that we're good enough to go up. Derby could finish in the playoffs, and they've been garbage, really. And we do like a so on this show. Like I said, my score's going to be 3-3. Rob, what do you think?
2 each.
So we're both in sort of alignment there. Draw City. So the only other thing I want to do is just, I wasn't going to say this, but I might as well tell everybody. I've just found out I'm going to be a dad. So Foxy's having a baby. So anyone who wants to write in and give me some suggestions for names, I expect abuse. But yeah, little girl, happy days. So obviously I'm floating on air. So I'm going to change my preview just on the back of that and go 5-4 Boro. So listen, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This is the preview show as ever. I've been Foxy. That's been
Rob.
He forgot his name. So listen, thank you for tuning in. Best fans in the world. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, peace out, and let's hope we get a big win against Ipswich.